A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night whenever you're watching this video. It's me, Guy Researcher, and today we are back with another topic. It's Neurology and Bioinformatics. An overview by me. So, what is bioinformatics? It is the intermingle of concepts, knowledge, information from fields of biology, statistics, and computer science, management, analysis, and storage of biological data such as cells, genomes, genes, protein sequences and arrangements, and various medical info such as blood groups, blood samples, and urine samples as well. Example, if a new protein sequence is discovered, it is compared with the previously discovered protein sequences for similarity, and then this newly discovered protein sequence is stored through bioinformatics. Some topping for the cake to make it even more delicious. The study of biological macromolecules, a large molecule formed by chaining more smaller molecules, is a macromolecule. This study of biological macromolecules is called structural biology, and bioinformatics benefits structural biology the most. Division of bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is divided into three fields: genomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. Genomics involves the study of genes and genomes. It involves the study of properties of genomes and how these genes are evolved in a certain amount of time. Proteomics, on the other hand, involves the study of proteins and amino acids. This is very interesting. It's my favorite. Study includes the structure, function, and the sequence of proteins and amino acids. Now, finally, metabolomics. Metabolomics is a contrast to structural biology. Structural biology involves the study of macromolecules, whereas metabolomics involves the study of micromolecules, which are involved in metabolism within a cell or a tissue. It involves the study of metabolic intermediates and products. Products, well, glucose, you may know that, and intermediates, which are required for metabolic reactions to occur in a human body. An example of bioinformatics. For example, I am studying and I've got to know that the DNA sequence of a human contains the algorithm of protein sequences. Bioinformatics can make the mathematical model of this algorithm of protein synthesis. So, a successful mathematical model can be reconverted into a complex algorithm for 3D printers to successfully synthesize these proteins artificially, which means when we study the DNA sequence, the gene relating to protein synthesis, it can ultimately result in artificial synthesis of these proteins. Crazy, right? Baking the dough. Yes, it would be pretty difficult for us to stand in some other person's boots and try their way of life. But believe me, you just have to think on the possible solution of the question which I am going to give you right now. And here it is. I request you to pause the video and just think about what you would do in such a situation. I hope you are ready with the answer. If not, don't worry, it happens in the beginning. I myself have made two possible answers or solutions to this problem. The solution 1 in situation 1 will be steps are: step 1, Xavier will locate the gene which is responsible for glutamate formation in our body. He will study the respective mutation and variation in the patient's DNA sequence. What is wrong with this patient's gene which has caused the deficiency of the secretion of this protein? Step 3. He will make a mathematical model of the error in the DNA sequence. He will convert the error in the DNA sequence in the form which is understood by 3D printers. Step 4. He will approach to a genetic engineer and submit him the mathematical model of the error in the DNA sequence. He will carry out certain editing of the genes by somatic editing and to improve the patient's overall health. I request you to search on somatic editing yourself because it's a very unique term and the ones who want to kindle their mind are welcome. The situation 2. If the gene is too difficult to approach, which means that the location of the gene is too sensitive. For example, a glitch in approaching to the gene will cause severe damage to the patient. Xavier won't risk the gene editing of this gene. In such a case, he would try to overcome the deficiency of the glutamate protein. He will study the arrangement of molecules in the glutamate protein itself. Then, in the step 2 and 3, Xavier will 3D print the required amount of glutamate through his mathematical model made for the 3D printer. He will submit the obtained glutamate from the 3D printer to Dr. John for to be intaken by the patient. While I was stuttering over here because many of us will think that injected means through a syringe. No, not always. Injected can be used in various other meanings as well. It can be a direct injection or an indirect one. It just means the simple intake of this protein. I hope you're clear with this idea. Yes, it was new for us to stand in someone else's boots and think in their way. But this is what will develop us in the future. The ganache. Yes, a few advanced terms, but explained in a baby language as I promised. Tissue imaging, the analysis of image of tissues and cells obtained by a microscope. For example, you obtain a microscopic image of the onion peel. You analyze the image, the cell which has a nucleus, which has thickened cell walls, and on that basis you record some observations. This is called tissue imaging. Tissue imaging is the base of pathology, a field in medicine. The next term, protein sequencing. It is the process of determining of the arrangement of amino acids in a human body. How are these amino acids and proteins, the structure of these proteins arranged in a human body? Can it be in other forms as well? Well, protein sequencing answer these questions. It is bread and butter for bioinformatics. It is a must for that. So if you consider a career in bioinformatics, do consider studying protein sequencing. Alzheimer's disease. I know we are familiar with this term, but since we are dealing with neurology too, I would like to talk about this topic. It is a chronic disease, which means that it lasts for a longer amount of time. It causes brain cells to degenerate and die, eventually causing problems like memory problems and inability to do simple day-to-day activities as well. Yes, it is lethal. The Ganesh further continued. Neurogenetics. It is the relation between neurology and genetics. How the study of gene is related with neural control, the development of the brain and the functioning of the brain. A karyogram. It is a method of showing chromosomes. Chromosomes carry hereditary information from one generation to other. They are present in the nucleus of the cell. They are only visible when the cell is dividing. This diagram which you can see over here is a karyogram. These structures are pair of chromosomes. And next image which you can see is a tissue image. Yes, it looks quite complicated, but don't worry. It's reality. It's how we look like. You can see collagen fibers and elastin fibers. These are the two fibers which constitute primarily in the connective tissue. Epidermal cells are those cells which constitute in the making of our skin. We don't have to go into depth in tissues right now. That's not our topic. And we have reached the most important part in our video. It's what's happening around us. First, gene therapy. Gene therapy and bioinformatics are closely related. Gene therapy requires a complete study of proteins and genes and the storage of this study, which is done by bioinformatics. For example, uncertain diseases like thyroid cancer can be dealt with by bioinformatics. For more, I request you to search this above string in YouTube search bar. You would get a beautiful TEDx video. It would tinker your mind and might choose a career for you in bioinformatics as well. Some inherited disorders, like the one Alzheimer's disease. The genes of people having Alzheimer's disease can be studied and can be edited respectively for the betterment of these people. Drug development. This is my personal favorite. A person having an intolerance to a certain drug, for example sulfa, can be treated too if development in biotechnology and bioinformatics occurs. His genes can be studied and a certain new drug can be developed for his betterment. Cake shops. So what are you going to do about it? Choose any of the idea given below and research upon it if you want to. I request you to go through these topics and choose any one of them and tell me your view and your idea step by step and type it down and send it to me on my email address. The last minute garnishing. Yes, that's what's left. A few important announcements. The best cake presented would be shown and with the credits of the person in the next video. What can be my next subject then? It can be heredity and evolution, electromagnetism and at its depth, or nanotechnology an overview. The ones presenting the ideas which are not related to the cake shops or their own unique ideas in which how they have used the knowledge of bioinformatics to help mankind would be favored. Send those ideas to this email address respectively. Now we have reached to the end of the video and I would end it with a beautiful quote. It says, to double your gains, you have to triple your effort. Yes, we will never ever stop growing. We will keep researching. We will evolve together. We have to. So, this is Guy Researcher, and I am signing out. Stay healthy, stay fit. Bye bye.